Hey guys, it's Camus again, and this is Chess Beauty 59. And when we left you at the end of Chess Beauty 58, you were presented with this position. This is a study by Evreinov from 1969, one of the more recent entries in our series. You've probably noticed that a lot of the stuff that you see on this series is from the 20s and 30s, and not so much from the modern era. But this is one of them. Okay, so this is white to play and draw. And so you can see that black has a rook for 2 pawns. And those 2 pawns are pretty weak. And the white king is cut off. So it's not the simplest thing in the world to get a draw here. But it is a draw. So take a stab at it. And I'll come back. Okay, I'm assuming that you've had a look at it, and you're probably scratching your head. It's like, how can this be a draw? Well, first of all, I want to congratulate Fox and Zibbet for together figuring out most of the fine points of this ending. There's a few wrinkles that maybe they didn't see, but it seems like they got the gist of it. So congratulations, guys. I'm impressed. All right, so right off the bat, the solution starts with bishop to g2. And this has a cunning little trap in there, because if black plays the obvious rook takes a6, then we have bishop to f1, and that's a shish kebab, and that's going to be at least a draw. So conversely, he can also try, after bishop to g2, he can try rook to c7 check, but after king to d6, rook to a7, bishop to b7, and this is one of the key ideas. The rook is imprisoned, and a draw is going to be the result. It's as Zibbet put it, it's a positional draw. Interestingly, computers cannot see this idea, and I played it out with Ribka just to see how long it would take, and really had to play about 45 moves from this position before Ribka finally realized it was a draw, with the 50 move rule looming up. So anyway, it's handy to know if you're ever playing computers that there's certain things they just cannot see. And it's a reminder also too of despite the fact that Ribka and Houdini are rated around 3,000, they have some giant holes in their conceptual apparatus. All right, so back to the main line. After bishop to g2, the best move is a rook to c5, and attacking another pawn. And now the pawn on a6 moves up to a7, and black thinks he might be winning that because rook to c7 check. And now, if you haven't gotten this far, I urge you to try and find a white's move here. And you have to be very precise. Okay, the correct move is king to e8. And we'll come back to this position in a minute, and you see why it has to be king to e8. Okay, so king to e8. Rook takes the pawn, of course. And now a6. Now white is threatening to imprison the rook again, and of course the pawn cannot be taken because of the same skewer threat on f1. This bishop is doing a lot of work just sitting there. So rook takes a7 is out of the question in this position. Now let's go back. This is the current position. Let's go back to the previous position where it was rook to c7 check, and I said king to e8 is the only move. The only other two moves that make sense are king to d8, which seems like a logical try, but it loses because after rook to a7, a6, bishop takes f6 check, it's a key move, king to e8, and now rook to h7, and the rook cannot be harassed from this position, and something like the following could occur. Of course, you can't push the pawn, it'd just be taken. So bishop to b7, hoping to hang on, bishop to d4, bishop c8, king to b5, bishop to f5, rook to a7, bishop to d3, king to c5, bishop to f1, king to d6, king to f8, rook to e7, a7, rook takes a7, bishop to d3, bishop g7, check, king e8, rook e7, check, king d8, bishop to f6, threatening a nasty discovery, such as rook to e3, bishop to c2, but the discovery works anyway, rook to e2 check, king c8, rook takes c2. That's just a sample line. Really, after the position of king e8, rook h7, there's probably a number of ways for black to win, but this is just one sample line. Okay, and the other, we'll go back again to this position after rook to c7 check. And of course, as we noted, the correct move is king to e8. If you played up to the 6th rank, then that is a different kind of problem, because rook takes a7, and now a6, threatening the same skewer, except it doesn't work now, because after rook to a6, it's check, because the king is on the 6th rank, and white does not have time for the skewer. Okay, so let's return again. Rook c7 check, king to e8, rook takes a7, a6, and we're back in the main line. Now white has got that threat with bishop b7 with the positional draw. So rook to c7, and he has to stay on this 7th rank. He's got to stop that pawn if it ever gets to a7. But the rook is terribly short of squares, thanks to actually his bishop on g7. So king to d8, and now rook to f7. King to e8, because there's only a couple of moves. He can't move to a7 because of bishop to b7, putting him in jail. And so when he has c7, of course he can't move to d7, he'll just be taken. And so the only squares he can go to, the king can attack. So his only chance is to try something like rook to f8 check. And his only real try if he leaves the 7th rank, white queen, so he must try this. King to e7, rook to c8, and this has the idea if white plays a7, he can play rook to c7 check. But king to d7, and now, of course, he can't play a7 because he couldn't have played a7 in that position because of what I just said with the rook check. And now, whereas before we were harassing the rook on the 7th rank, now we're harassing him on the 8th rank. And indeed, that's the theme of the study, was perpetual harassment, as using that idea as a drawing technique. So rook to f8, you can't move to g8 or f8 because white just simply queens. So king to e7, and the rook only has c8, king to d7, rook to f8, king to e7, rook to c8, king to d7, and that's a draw. So very clever study by Evreinov from 1969. I'm sorry I have no information on this composer. I'm going to try to research some of these guys a little bit as I present the studies. So let's look forward to Chess Beauty 60. And this is the position, and it's white to draw. Excuse me, I'm totally wrong. It's white to win. And you can see that's not going to be easy. Black has more or less erected a fortress here. His bishop is in a pretty crummy place, and white's bishop is much better piece, and white has an extra pawn. But still, it's not that easy to break through, and I'm sure if you try this, you'll quickly encounter difficulties. So there's a couple of subtle ideas in this position, and I hope you find them. Anyway, I'll look forward to seeing you on Chess Beauty 60. Thank you for watching.